Sorry, folks, I don't know what happened there. Um, it's a conspiracy. They're stopping my live stream now. They don't want me to speak to you all either. No, I think it's probably just the signal died. So let's wait for everyone else to come back online. Good afternoon, sir, madam, Marks. It's very difficult to read it in this light. Those damn Saudis, exactly, yes, cutting our internet links. Hi there, Simon. Thank you for inviting more. So, I was just talking about the ridiculous situation with Amy earlier the week, and was just about to come on to Tommy. So, yeah, Tommy, live streaming outside the court in Leeds today as the scum were going in to have their cases considered. And apparently, yeah, now they're on to us live streamers. It's very clear that, yeah, the police are now very much monitoring live streaming, which is obviously a new move. And even though Tommy was insulted, threatened, his wife was threatened, some absolutely disgusting language coming from some of the guys that were going into the court. Who should the police want? No, not them for being so vile towards Tommy, but our Tommy. So our Tommy gets hauled off for breaching the police, was it? Breaching the peace, did I say? What a load of nonsense. So simply standing outside a court on a public street is now an arrestable offence. I do hope I'm safe in this park. I did have a check out if there's any police around before I started live streaming, because you never know. I am joking, by the way. So, Tommy's been hauled off. Now, I understand from Kaylin that there were reporting restrictions on this case. Now, surely, therefore, isn't the first question, why would a case like that have reporting restrictions applied? Unfortunately, these days, it's a very normal, frequent case that's going to court. Why on earth would the authorities apply reporting restrictions? And I don't know about you guys, but I don't know how do they broadcast the fact that a case has reporting restrictions, and how would Tommy or anyone else just going up and live streaming on the street outside have the first idea that there are reporting restrictions in place? So, you know, a street outside a court is a public highway. Anyone can go there. But clearly, you can't stand outside and comment on people walking the street and through the doors of the court. That is now potentially an arrestable offence. So it's been said online that Tommy is now going to be imprisoned for 13 months. I don't know how it can be possible that 13 months has been clarified so very, very quickly, and that it doesn't have to go through any process in court. I think it might be connected with the fact that Tommy's currently on a suspended sentence. So I don't know whether that detail would have already been pre-decided, and therefore it's very quick for the system to say, right, he's broken it, and therefore this is what he's under. It does seem very surprising for it to be so very, very quick. You know, our court system, our justice system is not swift. Nothing usually is very quick and very prompt. So it's just a question I had. How could it possibly have been decided, you know, within a handful of hours of him being arrested? How could that detail already be specified and out there? I don't know if any of you guys online listening to me have any knowledge of that, or any knowledge of the justice system, or why that could have been clarified so very, very quickly. Yes? No? But anyway, so obviously now I think we're all going to have a big campaign to free Tommy, because clearly this again is a hugely politically driven by the state from very senior people in the justice system. The fact that yet again Tommy is under arrest. He is in custody for what seems such a meaningless, tiny nonsense. Clearly, persecuted by the state, it is still continuing for Tommy. But doesn't it show you? Doesn't it show you what an impact he is having? That he is still so under their scrutiny, and they're so quick to persecute him and to put him in custody. They clearly are absolutely paranoid about his influence and his control. But as we all know, he now has financial support from all of us. He can now get, as he has done before, get very, very good legal support. And we all know, since that point in time that he's been able to get legal support, I don't think there's been a single case that's been thrown at him where the authorities have been successful. And they've been thrown out, completely thrown out and challenged by the judges since Tommy has had legal support. So I'm sure he'll have a good lawyer on it this time. And hopefully, I'm not always right in predicting these things, but hopefully with some sound, good, thorough, quality legal support, Tommy will be out and back with us very, very soon. But I'm sure the state will be throwing everything at it that they possibly can as well. But, not a legal person, but what a load of nonsense this really is. So, what else should we talk about? Any suggestions from any of you guys? Tommy Robinson, you want to talk about Tommy Robinson? I've just been talking about Tommy Robinson. What would you like to say about Mr. Robinson? Yes, no, that's true. We need to help Based Amy too. Two patriots, two free speech advocates who are at the mercy of our corrupt state. No, I wasn't talking about Amy. I was earlier, but I was talking about Tommy just then. But, both of them are in legally challenging situation. How's Tan? I believe Tan is very well. He's still in Paris. And I believe he is going to be, or may have even already, shared the 10 commandments with our fellow Raj. So I think it's watch this space to learn of the 10 commandments. There's no such thing as free speech. It's a myth, especially on a private platform. Well, yes, of course, Periscope, Twitter, YouTube, they are all private platforms, but or used by or run by private entities, but they seem to be applying some very unusual rules and governance on them. You need to be progressive. I agree, it is very scary, Tommy and Amy. You think, which of our doors are going to get a knock on next as they're applying such nonsense. Yeah, private platforms need to follow the law, no discrimination, yes. But unless you've got a protected characteristic that scores good points in the top trumps of diversity, then you don't get anywhere, do you? The EU is cracking down due to upcoming elections. Hi there, I'm very well. I'm really not getting the light for this. That's better. It's lighter when I face that way. So, hopefully I'll be along at Speaker's Corner on Sunday. Won't be there for long this week, but hopefully we'll be popping in for a short while. If you haven't seen, let's talk about that actually. So on Sunday at Speaker's Corner at 2 o'clock on Sunday at Speaker's Corner, Anne-Marie Waters will be coming along and giving a speech. And of course, Anne-Marie is currently standing in the Lewisham East by-election after the current Labour incumbent is standing down to go and work with Mr. Sadiq Kant. So she's opened up this by-election, which is on, I think it's the second week in June. And Anne-Marie was, I think, one of the very first, if not the first, candidates to put her name forward. So she'll be standing for Britain. And she did actually previously stand in Lewisham East for UKIP in the last elections. And I think from memory, she's got something like 9.4% of the vote. So, you know, that's not a bad return, nothing to be ashamed of at all. She beat the Liberal Democrats and the Greens in Lewisham East. So the Labour Party in Lewisham East seems to be in chaos. They've been going through, I think they're on their third candidate now. That's just within the space of 1 or 2 weeks. Through all sorts of nonsense and stuff that has been uncovered about the candidates. I think they have finally landed on one candidate. But yeah, I would encourage everyone to actively support Anne-Marie. It is a very safe Labour seat. But hopefully, you know, with their nonsense and chaos that's going on at the moment, and really anyone that puts their X in the Labour box currently with under Comrade Corbyn deserves to have a lobotomy in my mind. I realise the chaos and the calamity that a Corbyn government would create for this country, and one extra Labour MP is one further step towards that calamitous apocalypse. So yeah, so get out there and help Anne-Marie if you possibly can. So yeah, Anne-Marie's speaking at 2:00 at Speaker's Corner this Sunday. And then also at 4:00 on the same Sunday, so it's going to be a busy day at Speaker's Corner, we have a visitor from Poland coming to speak. And I'm afraid to say I can't remember his name, but he's kind of a right-wing, patriotic, anti-EU politician from Poland. I think he's a member of the European Parliament. So that should be very interesting too. It's always good to have new blood at Speaker's Corner and new people to speak to. And I have to say, while we're on the subject, since Tommy's first visit to Speaker's Corner, I think, you know, it's had a real impact. We are getting more people coming to Speaker's Corner since that point, you know, even when the weather wasn't great. And a greater variety of speaker, including quite a lot of sort of patriotic, conservative, libertarian types coming along to Speaker's Corner. So I personally thank Tommy for putting the spotlight back on Speaker's Corner, like it should. So hopefully that will continue. What else? Oh yes, what I was going to say is you may not have seen, but I've started writing some articles or blogs on online, and I'm trying to remember what the website's called. I can't even remember what the website's called, but I tweeted about it earlier, and I shall tweet about it when I get home. So just writing a few articles about well, the history of Speaker's Corner, what's been going on recently, stuff about collective worship, and I'm hoping that I'll put sort of regular updates and blogs talking about Speaker's Corner predominantly, but no doubt I shall touch on other subjects. But having said that, I'm not even sure whether that website will be free from censorship and will truly support freedom of speech, because Lucy Brown has only just had her account on this website suspended. So yet again, another avenue for us talking to one another is being closed down. So as I say, I'll tweet that out later, links to that website. My 7-day ban, my 7 days sitting on the naughty steps came to an end this morning. So I'm back online, back on Twitter. And my goodness, it does show you how sad you become in your life when something's taken away from you and you suddenly realise that you can't sit there tweeting, you can't sit there retweeting, reading other people's tweets. It's a real loss. I completely get it that Tommy was so really frustrated when he was taken off Twitter. But at least mine was only a 7-day suspension, which finished this morning. So I'm back up on Twitter. So hopefully actively tweeting and doing stuff on there. Twitter sucks. But Gabby's not really. I don't know why Gabby is not really replacing Twitter or coming anywhere near to replacing Twitter, and I don't really know why. I've got a Gabby account, but I must admit, was it Gab or Gabby? Can't remember. It might be Gab. But to be honest, I've never used it. I don't think I've ever said anything on it. But I guess if more and more of us are being taken off of Twitter, then we'll have to use Gab. Yeah, no, I don't particularly like Gab. I agree with it. It's not very user friendly, but you know, maybe it needs to be developed, and that will happen over time. May God look over her forever. Which God is that, though? Expected behaviour on Sunday. Well, I know the police are very apprehensive about the Polish guy coming to speak. In fact, I'm not sure whether it's the same guy or another right-wing Polish guy who, there might be a couple of them, have been due to come and speak at venues in Ealing, which is an area that has a big Polish community. One was actually stopped from entering the country, so pettibone sauna, southern style. And the other one, the venue, which was going to be a Polish restaurant, had a huge amount of pressure, instigated by the lovely Miss Huck, who's one of the MPs for Ealing, who put a lot of pressure on, and the venue, withdrew themselves, so he didn't actually have a venue to speak at. So again, more and more evidence of paranoia and censorship. So as I say, yeah, I know the police, having spoken to them, and they actually brought it up with me, that are very concerned about the Polish guy coming. Really have no idea why they should have any concern. And obviously, anyone that's ever met Anne-Marie knows that she's the most peaceful, decent individual. So similarly, there should be no problem on that front. Of course, unless our dear friends, the thugs from the far left from Antifa, decide to turn up for either of those speakers, which, they may or may not do. And then if there is any violence, the media will jump on it and blame us for the violence, even though it never is, or very, very rarely is. And it's invariably the far left thugs will be the ones that are still blighted with the violence and with the arrests. So let's hope the far left numpties who have nothing better to do and quite frankly need to get themselves a job and need to have a good wash, let's hope they don't turn up. Or if that they do turn up, they turn up to have peaceful dialogue. Is that a pig flying over the sky? I think it might be. So, any other questions? Yeah, it looks like the Donald isn't going to be getting his Nobel Peace Prize, does it? Well, not quite yet. After he pulled out of the talks with North Korea. But they seem quite desperate to have the talks. They're practically begging, weren't they, for him to return to the talks. So we shall have to see. And he still might get the Nobel Peace Prize. There's another pig flying. So, because Nobel Peace Prizes, they come from Norway, don't they? And we know how left-wing Scandinavia are, don't we? Yes, one likes to think, if, goodness sake, if Obama got one for doing what? For doing pretty much nothing, then if there was any fairness, then certainly the Trump should, but what's fair? It ain't over until the fat lady sings. Stevie MP? There's a thought. What do MPs get paid these days? I think it's 65k, isn't it? That'll pay the bills. I hate what Britain has become. Well, let's not be too pessimistic. There has to be hope. There has to be hope. It is disgusting. Are the States any better though? I'm not sure they are. So, any more questions before I wrap up? Yeah, I think you might be right. It might all be part of the dealing and the negotiations between North Korea and America. He's not stupid. He's a businessman. That's his bag, negotiating hard. So, let's hope. God bless America. God bless Trump. Not sure which God. I think the Tooth Fairy should bless Trump. I think Thor and Zeus should bless Trump. How do I keep my cool? I don't always. Try to. I actually find when you're in the face of the most ridiculous, stupid, childish, immature, thuggish, twattish thugs at Speaker's Corner, it's very much in those moments where actually I find it easiest to keep cool, because they are such idiots. It's like, more the idiot, the more I can remain cool and calm. I mean, they're the latest ploy that they're applying, and they've applied it on a few fronts, is the radical Muslims at Speaker's Corner playing the PC card. So basically pulling people up for not being PC, which, if that's not the most hypocritical nonsense you could ever imagine, I don't know what is. So, one of the latest of that is that one of them confronted Sarah last Sunday and telling him what a very naughty boy he was for calling someone autistic, and that they're going to get mothers of autistic children to come and give him a damn good ticking off. I mean, come on. Has no one noticed that there isn't a week, there's not an hour, there's hardly a minute that goes by at Speaker's Corner without the radical Muslims spewing the most vile, homophobic, vitriolic hate that you could imagine? That's okay. It's okay for them to call people baboons. It's okay for them to be explicitly racist. It's okay for them to go around calling non-white people Uncle Toms and coconuts. That's okay. But no, you mustn't call someone autistic, because that's not nice. Since when do we look to radical Islam to know how to behave, to know what's politically correct or what's appropriate or what's nice to say and not to say? I think this is going to be... Oh, and the other example was where they picked Raj up on using the word fag, which, quite frankly, Raj has sincerely apologised to. He even took down the video that he put up within which he said that, and he said, he's sorry and he won't use it again. Again, compare that with the weekly vitriolic, homophobic, evil nonsense that they spew week in, week out. Not because it's just their view, it's the view of their Messiah, their prophet, their book, their scripture. They really need to try another avenue if they think they're going to start picking the people up that challenge them at Speaker's Corner on non-PC lines. Because, if you pay any credence to what political correctness is or should be or whether it should exist, they are certainly the last ones to be following any of it whatsoever. Amy is free, so they let her out at the end of the day, so she was in custody for the whole blimmin' day, from early in the morning till late at night. Bridget went down to where Amy lives, down on the south coast, and really helped her out and looked after her and took her home afterwards. But she was in custody all day, even though Poppy, her dog, was just left alone at home. And when she was released at, I can't remember what time it was, 8, 9 o'clock in the evening, she still had her pyjamas on, because they'd basically come to her house and arrested her first thing in the morning. So good on Bridget for supporting, and good luck to Amy. Any other questions? And Bridget is a true friend, and actually based Welshman. You helped out. I think you did your bit on the day as well, so good on you too. Oh, language. So, unless there are any other questions, had a great evening, Christy, too. Just debating what we're going to have for dinner. Fish and chips, curry, or Chinese? I've got one Stevie t-shirts. I need someone to design them. Base Welshman, you're good at that sort of thing. You design something, you send me the design, and then I'll get it onto t-shirts. Fish and chips. 2 votes for fish and chips.
Chinese.
Chinese. Got another vote for Chinese. No, not you. Someone else. Sorry, I'm talking to someone here with me. I'm quite happy with all of them, although fish and chips is particularly making me salivate at the moment. So I'll be off then. So I might do a little bit of live streaming from the corner on Sunday. So I hope everyone has a good bank holiday weekend for those of you in the UK. Keep up the good fight. Not a good night for curry. Well, the Sikhs must have curry restaurants. I need to hunt out a Sikh restaurant. Or a Nepalese restaurant. Nepalese are not, they're not Muslim. So maybe we'll have a Nepalese or a Sikh curry if I can find one out. All right then, take care, and I'll see everyone soon. And look out for my tweet in about half an hour when I get home. I'll send out some links to the articles that I've written. See you later.
Bye-bye. How many views did you have? What was the most